Samoa, Lau Samoa, Fa'amua mua le atua, o ia o lo'u fa'avae. A o mai ni puapuanga, fa'amalo situ maupea, o te alofa ia te oe Lau Samoa. Talofa Samoa lo'u tunu upelele anga. Ai se o upese atu mafamatala. Lo matamofi ele mafaya upuna famatala. Ua numera tasi fo I oe ile Pasifika. Lau Samoa.
Sorry.
Ia, e whatalofa atu paia malu Samoa lo mau mai tato por kalami o Laulua Fesilafa'i I nei vaenga o le afiafi. Ia, malo soifua maua ma le lange ma. Ia ele amatalia tato por kalame mua na o ta eo to paia ma o to malu Samoa. Mai lava I fitiuta se ia paia feeling por tu o lea na tau ilo ai malo. Ia o lea le o ia se leo o maunu po leota nei vaenga o le afiafi. Ia il tatonunga o le ata oto ia o se ala o to pa ia maulunga Samoa o Sama whaingata ia ona e whapelepele ai lo tatou atunu o le ia I vivia o le vaa whaonga tā foi. Ia vea whani nei avanoe whatalofa atu ai ia I nai o tatou wō mai e māsani pa anga tō tino o lo whapena ona maua mai el tatou por kalame le neipo ma lor soifua maua ma lor lange maa. Ia e mo foi ona tawaso atu ia vai malo I puenga. Pa ia le tatou atunu. Ia pa ia foi lau mai moa. Ona tūlanga o tuai atu e tatou po kalame le nei vaenga le afiafi. Ina na ia nei mea la iti sa tama whai a few IT issues. Ia ai talitonu lava. Ia o le mea tā ua o mo whai ona tu atu I lunga. Ia le tatou po kalame. Ia a wāl wha moe e pensa to faina nei po ia o le nei po mo lo to silafia ia o tato por kalame I le vai aso o lua nei vai aso talu ona o umana na to feloai ia ma se tasi foi o tama pese o tato tunu o ia foi sa o lo iai lo ia usuina ia se tasi foi o pese 685 to the world ia e to tolu la to where na whaia ia le pesel nei, ia au se tasi foi leo tama Samoa o alo ma whanau o si o tato atunu pele sa ia sosoani foi a wā ia le nei pese, o le pese foi lea sa whai mawii o le toa Samoa a o lato alo whai vātu I le World Cup, Rugby League World Cup le tausanga o tūna I atu, ia o se interview sa ese le mānaia. Ese foi le leito e au ngā foi le whaso o sitama o poetic. Ia, whapena ona ia fisosoani mai foi ma whaso mai a wā lona ia tā leni. Tono o le industry. Ia, o lana ia o le whauwhawina o lana ia career. O lana ia ngaluenga. Lo whapena ona ia punou iai. Ia, sa matala no foi ma whaasoa I le amatanga mai o mai lava le taimi na whanau ai se ia o mai taimi nei ia o mea uma ia tele ia vaenga sa ma whaasoa iai ma le tama pesel nei a poetic ia e moli atu foi le anganga le whaafetai ia te oe poetic ia ma le lato team ia Ronnie ia le nata foi le nisi foi o na ialo whanau si o tato atunu sa tato whaatasi le nā so ia awa ia se interview foi ia wal whaatala noina o le tato tama pese o poetic ia to tele tangata sa o ro silafia e pe li lifa ia le wha moe i nei o tātou tupulanga ia o stama ia taule i loa le au matutua se tu loa ia so whaafonga anga Samoa taule silafia tangata matutua ai lava le au ngā o le whaasoa foi o le atalii ia po si uso foi ala i lana ia i lea pito la au lo ia ngalue ai o le nā ia se taimi ona tātou o atu la ia le tātou porkalame nā awa ia le whaatalonoa ina o stama poetic ia a vea foi nei avanoa ia o lua foi nei tau ia vai aso talu on whaatalonoa ia le sapa ia o le sapa o le mato au talavou o le mato e kalesia Tinmore Wesleyan Methodist Church ia vea lo leo e whai masui o le mato laulau po le laulau o le au talavou e momoli atu ai lo mato ngang whaftai nai o tatou wō o ainga o e kalesia so o se tangata sa o tau alolofa mai a wāfo i le wha moe o le mato e kalesia ia iai lava le upu whawhetai lava. E le ititi lo mato nganga whawhetai, mita foi loto i la vai atu. Ia o lango sua lea vaenga ia wha moe o si o mato o talavou. E la ititi lava to la iti ai a mato. Ia ai e tatonunga. Ai iai lava le atua i so se wha moe se mea i nā le lei. Ia, ona iai la ia tatonunga. O le a tato, o le ava vai foi. Whaisi na tato malolonga pupu, a mai lea, o na tato walo atu la ia, i le tato wha moe, o le whaatalanoa ina, o le tamau poetic. For those of you who had no idea what I was saying, or who are tuning in right now for Poetic's interview, I met with him 2 weeks ago. We went through the interview. We touched on a lot of things, his upbringing, how he got into the music industry, what it is like in the music industry, some advice that he had. But it was a really, really, really good, I guess, insight into the industry and also what it's like to be a Pasifika artist. We've heard on this show a couple of other Pasifika artists, such as the likes of Stanley T, and we have DC, but we've got another one here. Everyone knows Poetic quite well. He's a well-known artist, and I think it's really good for us to hear from him. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to go to a quick song, and we're going to take it away with 685 to the World by Victor J. Seffel and Poetic and Biggie 685. So we'll take it away on a break now, okay?
Well, if I talk about the 6'8 Lima, I'm a swerve, I'm on style. Sipping on that Lima swig like Apia. It's the status you click. Ran it all around the world, trade times, and kept it lit. I could joust with the best of them. Say word, poly girl, slim, thick, make the kitty cat purr. I wouldn't change it at all. Stay G, ducking laws, and it's done for the culture, never for the applause. For a sign more, baby. Who can rock the mic so precise to take it right back to sign more, baby? Old school, Benny Nickel to your foul street classic. Battle status still doing damage. Mashing and two-wheeler up in the mix. 84, 85, better sound like this. From the Bay to LA, back to AKL, you know those so quite well. 685 on your speaker. 685 on your radio. 685 we'll be rolling. 685 we'll be trolling. 685 around the world. Silopa singing Samoan. 685 around the world. So let it be known. So let it be known.
Solid alone, volume of one deep in the veins. Blood up for my city, you can put it on game. I'm a 6'8" Sydney West Side. So called Big South Pacific weed album. Born in the Usway, like the Eagles of life in the fast lane. I was stuck up in the mud. Oh, nice ball beds full of herb. Bringing that noise, got my mouth to say the word. Back to the business, hustle stay relentless. Fire side, more got a family providing. Strong in this robbing, out just surviving. If they go match something learned from the island.
685 when you speak, 685 when your radio. 685 we'll be rolling. 685 we be trolling. 685 around the world. Salopa singing Samoan. 685 around the world. Yeah. So let it be known. 685 when you speak, 685 when your radio. 685 we'll be rolling. 685 we be trolling. 685 around the world. Salopa singing Samoan. 685 around the world. Yeah. So let it be known. So let it be known. Speaker, 685 when your radio. 685 we'll be rolling. 685 we be trolling.
Ele vene arno e whatalo whatuai pa ia malu o tato atunu Samoa. Whapena ono tō maua mai and nei whasalango o Laulua Fesilafa'i. Yeah, for those of you who have no idea what I just said, it's just a welcome to all of our Samoans out there who are watching and tuning in. My name is Sinau. I'm here with Poetic, one of our great artists in our Samoan community here, up and coming, rising and still on the rise. And today we're just gonna obviously run a little interview. He's in from Cairns.
Cairns today, yeah.
In from Cairns. So look,
we'll start off with a bit of background, because I know a lot of our viewers probably don't know who you are, where you're from, our older generation. So, molo tōsi la fia ia o pa ia masam whingata o le sunga tama pese ia poere ki hai whingata ia le ainga tawa ana mana lato tama tui ma le li whano ia tulo sa nono ia ka loe wha whanfitu rati tangaroa ia malu ia whale la tai ia o pa ia o le ata oto ia ai o le awha ngā solo tato po kalame ia le sunga ia poere ia bro, how's things been, man? Like this is a very casual interview, but how's things been? What have you been up to?
Just working, man. Things have been good. I'm very well, healthy, and just work.
For those of you who don't know, the Mr. 685, the 685 you can see on his shirt there, he's a bit of an entrepreneur. He does the t-shirts, he does everything. 685, he reps his country very proudly, and he's very proud to call himself a Samoan, as am I. But as a Pasifika community, it's really good for us to see our artists coming up. Tell me, how did that start? How did music start for you?
I'm born into music. Yeah, my dad is a singer from the early days of Pacific Islander artists. So I grew up in musical family. And literally born into it. When I was born, Pops was already touring the world, so
wow,
already had music out.
Yeah,
had their own record label, independent. In those days they weren't giving out a lot of opportunities to people of color overseas. Yeah, so yeah, I was born into that.
Yeah, and you've got a bit of an American accent, man. Tell me about that.
Do I?
Yeah. Are you
this
from
is how
America?
we're talking Apia, man. Yeah, somewhere Apia, bro. Yeah. Dad's American, but I don't think he'll ever claim it anymore. He just Samoan. He's American, and then my mom's German. Yeah. Mix. So yeah, both from Samoa. Yeah. Both born in Samoa. Yeah.
And you grew up in Samoa as well?
Yeah. Well, I've been around a bit. I spent time here in Australia. Yeah. New Zealand. Spent a little bit of time in the States, but Samoa's always home. No matter how far we go and whatever the career takes us to, always know where home is.
That's it, man. And for you who are obviously watching and tuning in, there was a point in time when the 685 movement was massive. Now, this was during the Rugby League World Cup, and Poetic here was probably the originator. Yeah, I'd say he's the originator of Mr. 685. So you see his song with Wayno, and that's probably the anthem of the Samoan Victor J. Seffel, sorry. And that's probably the anthem of the World Cup for the Samoans. You hear it everywhere, everyone knows it. But tell me about that, man. How did that come about?
That's Victor. So Victor had that song. He sat on that song for like 4 years. I think he, in his mind, he probably had an idea to drop it at a certain time, and it worked. He hit us up, and we went into the video clip, and then it was released a couple of months later, and then, the boys did so well in the World Cup. Yeah. And it just carried, not just the song, but it carried Pasifika everywhere. That whole movement was just, it was needed. I think it was needed. I feel like we needed that one. Yeah. We needed to, believe that we can accomplish whatever we put our minds to.
And how did it feel when you see your name or you see a song that you helped make? How did that make you feel, seeing all of our people get around that?
I don't think I had enough time to stop and look at it. Yeah. We just been grinding. We just work every day. So now that I think about it, man, it's humbling. Humbling. It's a blessing, and we're thankful for the support. It's what we're fighting for. Because it's not easy being an artist and being an entrepreneur and all those things. Yeah. But it makes it that much more worth it when you know that your people are there. Yeah. And for a lot of us, we're the first through the door. First Samoans, first Tongans, first Fijians to do certain things. So when you're the first through the door and you fall on your face, it's the people that support you that pick you back up and say, hey, Famaroshi, keep going. So, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
So this looks like like you're my lawyer, and
Yeah.
I should have worn a church shirt or something.
That's it, man. Nah, don't
Sorry.
worry. Poetics is just he's just flying through Brisbane, so I thanks for taking your time out to come and be interviewed and have lunch with us. So we're lucky enough to get an interview with Poetic while he's transiting through Brisbane. But man, how does the music industry, as a Pasifika person going through or one of the brothers going through the music industry, what's your experience been, and what's probably your advice for those who are to come?
That's a big question. I think I wish I could go back 10 years with the knowledge I have now. One thing, when I got to New Zealand, I got there in Jandals and Iulai, so there wasn't a space for me to already have something to, jumpstart us. You had to learn everything from the ground up. So information, very valuable information. I would pay $250,000 for information. That's how much it's worth to me, because you can triple that every year. Your plugs, the people that are within the business. If you you get out there and you work with certain people that put you in places to get you further along in your career and your message, your mission. It's important to know who you are, but I know a lot of us, especially young Pasifika men and women, going through these cultural changes overseas. I think sometimes it's hard to go through that. So do the best you can there, because if you know where you're from, what you're about, it makes it that much easier with how you're gonna move. Yeah.
Well, you're in saying knowing where you're from, where you're, what you're about. You've obviously you were brought up in Samoa, raised in Samoa. You've spent a lot of time in Samoa. What's that like for you to obviously go back, because you've obviously gone back, seeing what life is like? Nothing's really changed. There's still the same Samoa that you see, probably you saw a long time ago. How's your view on that, on going back? What's it like to go back?
Beautiful going back. Yeah, it makes me understand life a bit more. When I was younger, I was a bit, immature. I wasn't mature enough to understand why things are the way they are in the world. And you go to different countries, you have different experiences, and you see how not only us Pasifika, how we live, but people of color and then everyone else blend together, how people operate.
Yeah.
It makes me very thankful for the opportunity to even have a passport to leave Samoa and travel. Yeah. Because a lot of my cousins, they don't have passports and things. They're not allowed to, leave the country. So I try not to make too many mistakes while I'm overseas. Yeah. Because it's an opportunity to go overseas, make something of yourself, do something for our people, make money, get educated with everything that you're doing, get educated in the departments that you're trying to get through. And then when you have all those things, you can do things for others. Our ways, it's all about service. That's our ways. So if you're better off like that, you can go back home and you can set things up for Samoa or the islands.
There's a Samoan proverb, and you've probably heard it a lot. Ole Alan Pula Tautua. The path to leadership is through service. Yeah. Which is, I guess, very, very important for our listeners out there to see Poetic in this light. A lot of you probably don't see him in an interview where he's obviously sharing about culture, sharing about his background and where he's from, but you can see from how he's speaking right now, he's very well-rounded in the Samoan teachings, our cultural beliefs, our cultural teachings. The values that we get from our culture are, not saying better than any other culture, but they're very important and very dear. So for us to come out and make the most of this opportunity, you probably have parents who have worked so hard to get out of Samoa, and then they don't see the fruits of their labor through their kids. You have that opportunity. If you're out there and you're listening to this and you say, my parents battled their way through to get that passport that Poeta was talking about, to leave Samoa. Be fortunate, you're very fortunate to be able to leave Samoa, let alone be for us here in Australia, to be here in Australia, living the life that we have. Man, very fortunate, because I know a million other children in Samoa who will die or who will give up their place easily to be in our shoes. So very fortunate and happy with, be very fortunate and very happy with what you're doing. The other question I wanted to ask you also is, with the music industry now, I know probably because you were born into music, it might be a little bit different. You have there's a certain stigma in the Pasifika community with, and this is just me speaking from what I've seen, my experience. You have parents out there who are probably limiting their kids from pursuing a music career. You know, they're like, oh look, we'll do that. We're surrounded by music, but when we're given the opportunity to pursue music, it's often we're pulled back from pursuing that career. What would be your advice in that sense?
Man, I don't know if I can give advice, bro. Like, that's your kids. I'm not telling you to raise your kids. My experience, my father is a musician, and he told me when I told him I was 16 years old and I wanted to be a musician, and he told me to find something else to do. And for me, I couldn't understand it. You know, like I said before, I was too immature at the time. But as I went through it on my own, and I realized all the doors that were closed to us, you know, just for being Pacific people or people of color in certain areas, or looking like the way I look, a lot of the doors don't open, and you suffer. You starve as an artist. And that's why, part of the reason why a lot of people drop off. And then I also noticed that how much better it is, how much more opportunity that we have today as artists. We can go anywhere and jump on any stage and rock. No one's gonna stop us. You know, once you're that person that they wanna hire for the show, it doesn't matter what you are. You go and do your job. But in my father's day, it mattered who he was, and he was a black person, a brown person. So he would get stopped at certain venues. This is the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And then I think to myself, man, these are the guys that opened the door for all people of color, you know, in countries like New Zealand and Australia, America, and I'm like, I gotta take it more serious. You know, so I had to clean up my act a bit. You learn that as you go through, you know, you climb the ladder of success, there's gonna be young people that are younger than us looking up to us. And I'm thinking, oh shucks, man, I gotta, you know, get myself together and make sure I'm not setting, you know, the bad examples for them. So as far as other parents, like, for me, the reason was my dad didn't want me to go through what he went through, and you know, it can be a dirty game. Go be a lawyer, go be a builder, go be a doctor, and you'll suffer less. I think he was just trying to protect, and I feel like some parents try to protect, or they feel like, you know, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it in that game. But you can go to school and become a lawyer, bro. And on the side, on the weekends when you're not studying, you can record your music and just upload it now. The game has changed. And if one of those songs hit, you know, 20 grand in your bank account, you know? And you own your masters. If you own your masters for 70 years, it's an investment for your kids. So these days, you don't even have to do it full time. You could just record music. You don't have to tour and all that. You just record it, release it. And if it gets, you know, you get a hit, a lot of the boys that we know got hits on the first release. So, and they were able to buy houses. So it's like a business investment. So, you know, we all do it for love and the passion. But learning to find the balance between being an artist and in the business, that's where the magic happens. That's where you can start, you know, changing lives, changing your own life, and invest.
Yeah.
So,
man, I might have to get me a few songs up.
Yeah, I'll feature them.
Weeks.
I'll feature them. Yeah, bro.
I'll have to collab with you. I'll have to come on my Samoan only speaking songs. I'm not a good singer. I'll just leave the singing and the rapping to you. I'll just stay in the background somewhere, do the background music. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's one thing to be passionate about music, but to use that. You know, we're in a new day and age now where, like Poetic said, our parents are obviously trying to protect us. Some of us have a passion for music and it should be pursued. But sometimes they protect us by saying, go be a lawyer, go be a doctor. There's nothing wrong with those if that is your passion. If that is your passion, then obviously go and pursue it. I'm a lawyer by trade, and I've faced similar roadblocks for being my skin type, for being Pasifika. There's always hurdles that are going to be in front of you. The number one thing you have to realize is you've got your support system there, your crew, your ainga, your village. They'll always be there for you. But the difference between music and music business, there's a difference there that Poetic's highlighting, and that's channeling your God-given talent to help those after you, to help kausi your ainga. Because these days, you see the price of living these days, it's not cheap. So to kausi your ainga. Now, Poetic, you run you're a bit of an entrepreneur, you do a bit of a t-shirt or printing business on the side. How's that going? And let's get into that. How does that work for you, and how do you make it work?
It's good. I feel like that was God looking out for us and gave us a better avenue. And I'm still learning a lot, bro. Like there's a lot that we haven't been able to do just because we don't have the time and the resources. So as we go, we get better as we go. New doors open. I think I'll be better off answering that question in about a year's time, because the next 6 to 12 months is going to be defining moments. But it could get scary.
Yeah.
You know, it can get scary, especially when the big money's involved, and then you gotta meet these deadlines. You gotta all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And when you come from the ghetto or you come from the village where the system, your life's different. All of a sudden you look at 100 grand, 200 grand here, and you're like, oh man, this and that. It can become stressful. So learning how to deal with that, learning how to be. I want to be a businessman. Learning how to be a better businessman or entrepreneur at the moment, coming up, but learning how to do that and then be an artist at the same time and balance. Plus I have kids, so trying to balance everything is it's hard, man.
Yeah.
It's hard. And the industry is designed to destroy you spiritually, mentally. So I feel like being grounded in the culture it plays a big part in sustaining us. Otherwise, you're just gonna get on the drugs and alcohol and everything else that's out there to stimulate you for that moment. Yeah. But it's a waste, It can really destroy you. That's part of the industry. Yeah. Which I get now. Why some of our elders be like, don't go do that. Some people in church be like, don't do the worldly stuff, because that's the world. That's the industry. That's how it goes. So.
And there's a lot of, I guess. You don't see it, but when you meet artists who are obviously on the rise, artists who have made it. Poetic over here, I've only just met him today, and judging from the person he is, he's well versed, and he's obviously a very humble person. So and that's something that's very, very big in our community, is being very humble. It's a difference between confidence, arrogance. But how do you remain humble amidst everything that goes on, all the shows, all the bright lights and everything? How do you cope with? Okay, calm down. Do I need to? Where is it? What's the advice in terms of humbling yourself in certain situations?
I fear God. That's it.
Wow.
I just fear God, bro. Whether you're Muslim or Christian or whatever you are, I think you understand what I'm saying. I don't want to disappoint God. I've done that enough. I feel like if I look out for my brothers and sisters with a pure heart, it pleases God. So service is the Fasamo or the island way. indigenous way. It's also, you know, as Christians, it's how we operate, how you're supposed to operate. So it's not about me. It's about us, and all the glory, it goes to God anyway. So, you know, and if you live your life that way, man, watch, you're gonna be taken care of. You know, the other day, man, I think I gave like $200 to somebody, and said goodbye to them. Went up around the corner, and a complete stranger came up to me and gave me money, the same amount.
Wow.
And asked for a photo and said, you know, thanks for what you're doing. And I'm just like, and you know us. We don't want to go, oh, no, like, because, you know, I want them to feel like, you know, our ways, our culture. And I was just like, after they left, I was like, looked up to the sky and I was like, okay, I get the lesson. Give with a pure heart and you'll always be taken care of. And man, I've been through some dark times, bro. Like, man, the darkness I've been through, I've seen. I shouldn't even be here, but at the same time I should, because God got a plan. So if I'm alive for another year, my plan is to just do the best I can for us. And yeah.
Jeez, man, that's powerful.
Thank you for tuning in, guys.
Yeah.
This is my lawyer.
Well, the last, I guess the last question to round us off and finish us up before we finish up is, man, who do you attribute all your success to? Who do you have to thank for everything? Because we always, it's never about us. You said it's never about us. You said you thank God, but are there certain people in your life that have obviously paved the way, and not only that, supported you, that you want to shout out and give a warm thank you to?
Man, it's a long list, man.
Yeah.
It's a long list. I'm raised in the village, by the village.
Wow.
Everywhere I went, every country, same thing.
Yeah.
People took me in. Like, yeah, it's a long list. All the people that gave me a place to stay, gave me clothes, gave me food when I was growing up. All the mothers, all the father figures, all the Usos that came through, supported, all the people that stream and buy CDs and hoodies. All the people that opened doors for us in the industry, managers, producers, artists, promoters, radio, television. It's a long list, bro. Ultimately, God, always God. Yeah, I gotta write a book one day and list the names.
Yeah, man, write a book. I'll read a
people
book.
That got a long list of names to say thank you. But today, thank you. No. Thanks to Oos too, and Brother Ronnie for bringing us in and linking us.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Yeah.
It's and that's the reason why I am running this program is to use it as a platform to recognize our people, man. Because like Poetic has already said, we don't get the recognition sometimes. You know, we come from very tough backgrounds, and we come from a place where we're not acknowledged and I guess celebrated. That's the word. We're not celebrated. So that's why I want to do this, is to celebrate our artists, celebrate all the talent that we have, because as a Samoan from Samoa, migrated to New Zealand, now I'm in Australia, working as a lawyer and now own WT Compensation Lawyers alongside my uso Jono here. It's very humbling to be able to meet like-minded people who come from the struggle, people who come from the struggle. Now, if you're young and you probably don't understand it now, the Samoa way, but you will come to understand. And that's why I wanted to get Poetic on. I know his background from, he had a lot of stuff to do back at home, and obviously I wanted him to explain and tell you the story of how that's probably obviously played a massive part in who he is today. So, Poetic, thank you for coming onto the show. I really appreciate your time. We know it is valuable and you don't have too much time, but before we do finish off, we do have a mystery box challenge. I usually get a secret word from my special guest. You're my special guest today, so if you could give me a secret word that we could use in our mystery box challenge for the week, and we'll be able to roll out a secret prize to our followers and those who are tuning in. just any word you just list.
You want to say it here?
Yeah, say it here.
Beavers.
Beavers. That's the mystery word for next week. Okay, so if you're tuning in now, list down beavers in the comment section. The first person to list it down wins our mystery box challenge. But poetic, mole koe whakakai ki o le uso, lavo ka uso koe, le kikile ngang whakakai, o whaonga inga lo kaini, o ai al kako por kalame o Laulua Fesilafa'i, li ngei vai ngole fiafi, vi le li I sanga whamangu e po ile kua wā oe le uso maka lengi, o lo whea ngai maoe, sanga kuku inga fo ilo ukua wā, lo walu whaiva fo I so se skeke, so se muu, a wāle whakingo inga lo ka lengi. Bro, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate everything. I appreciate all your time. Pasifika TV and radio also appreciate your time as well. So for you out there, take on the advice. This is your host, Sinau Metal File with Poetic, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the week. And manuia!
Yeah. Whawhitai lava o te loa naua o tō sila fōi mo o tō tangata nai fōi a wāia se whātatalanga o tātou tama pese o se ala fōi ma o tama whānau o tātou tunu. Ia o tama pēr o tō whawhonga e sau me le nuu nei o whale lātai. Ia a wāle ainga tawa ana ma le lātou tama o le whale fitu le atitanga loa. Tulo sa longo ngalu e whā, tangata o le wawau, ia malu ia te oe whale lātai. Ia o pa ia mamalu ia o loo tiu whaamatala o ai ia le sunga ia Poetic. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. For all of you who didn't know too much about Poetic, that is a bit about Poetic. I wanted to run through and speak about the different aspects of his life. Obviously, at the moment, he is in New Zealand. He's based in New Zealand, but he travels. But hopefully one day we do get to link up again with Poetic. So again tonight, Poetic, thank you so much for making your time available. He was in transit, so he was on his way from Cairns to New Zealand, and he stopped by Brisbane for, I think it was 2 hours, 3 hours, and I got him in, or Ronnie was able to get him in for an interview quickly, and then we saw him off and away he went. But before we do wrap up, there are a couple of things I want to say. I want to say apologies to also Victor J. Seffel. Yeah, I did say the song 685 was sung by Waino, but it is correction, Victor J. Seffel, who sings that song. And I want to acknowledge that mistake because, as Poetic did say, it is a song that he had pondered on and he had in the pipeline for about 4 years. 4 years is a very, very, very long time, and I didn't want to take the credit away from from Victor J. Seffel. So Victor, whamalulua koe ki ole uso, it was a simple mistake. Sinau should did his homework on the actual song, but beautiful song. And I want to say we have been lacking with our responses with the mystery prize box. So the mystery prize box has been lacking. So I think it's good that I mention who or what the prize is, okay? Now, Poetic, the secret word is beavers. So comment down beavers. The first person to comment is going to get the mystery box challenge. All right, now we've missed a couple of weeks because obviously last week we didn't air. This week, the secret word is beavers. So if you're watching out there and you haven't commented now, comment now, because you don't know what it is. Like I said, it can be a movie ticket, but I'm gonna tell you what it is. It is gonna be a gift card. Okay, now a gift card, the value, we don't know. The value you will have to find out, but it is a gift card, so do participate. And it's good for you to participate because We've given out one prize so far, and I want to be doing this more and more. I want to do more giveaways because our listeners do deserve to be treated, and you are taking your time out to obviously follow. Ai o le awanoa fōli nei, e moli e toi nei o alofaanga, ia, nei o mato, nei o tato ainga, ia, o lo au mau i nei Australia, New Zealand, ma Samoa, ia, e lo fatu fo i nei o tato tua, nei o tua lo whapenao na nofo mau mai i Samoa, ia, le tina ia mama, lawa ngaia, ia, le ngata foi lea ia tua wā ia fui mau no sasa, ia mana upu, ai tani nane foi lea ia nei o mātua inga lo whapenao, nofo mau i Samoa, ia, e tō tele lava i o tau, ia, ai lo taitonu, e leo lava le taimi e lisi e tuai, ai lo tele atu mo nei o mātua inga lo whapenao, nofo mai Samoa, ai le ngata foi lea i nei i New Zealand, ma Australia, i la Loisini, Melbourne, Sources tete, lo whapenao na nofo mau ia nei o mātua inga, ia, lo whatu te lea mo o tau taritonu, o le tato porkalame na vai aso fau, ia, o le a tato toe tala noa, ia, ma le tamafusu nei o ato, ia, pea ona tato, pea ona o tau sila, ma o tau whaafonga fo i se taimi o sola, o le tamana nei o ato, o le tamafusu, ia, sa ia o sia fo i e se tūlang sa ia manu mālo i lana fusuanga o umatu nei, taluai nei le māsina o lua te atu i a Iulai, ia o toi fo i mai nei Australia, a i eil tatonunga, tātou te tui pea, tātou te langolong suama, tātou soli pea lo whiwai, ia a wā, ia tau mawhainga tātou alam whānau, ia o lo sa auni atu, ia ato ma lato team, ia ngai atu, i le South Pacific Games o whapenao whatu langa ina i le atu nune Solomona, ia, se taimi ia, o na tātou toi tala nola ia, whaatasi ma le sunga ia ato, ia po le whionga fo ia tupuola, whionga fo ia se wai. Ia, o se taimi nea atofa ina mo le aso fau, ia, mo le taimi nei, ia, o le a tā atu pese lea, ma wha uma toi ma tato porkalame ai manu ia. Tele lava i ele a fiafi a lofa anga foi mo o tau uma, ia a whai foi o iesesi o lo a fia mai se ngaluenga po o le taa vale, ia whafso tai mai au i le WT Compensation Lawyers, ia lo whapena o na yeilo numera i le amatanga o tato show, ia whafso tai mai pe amanao, ia so swani, ia foi se mana mia foi se so soani e ala i me tau sitiseni ia wala au mai o lo ia foi ia nisi o le sungi a suli ene o whapenao ni so soani ia ma te va lua a wā ia le wha moi le nei a ia manuia tele a ia le a fiafi ia whapena foi manuia pui le atua wā ia malo longa le nei po nisi foi o lo whainga luenga pea ia sanga fua i mai pea le atua malo si a te o tau ia nei taimi o te whape i fo tō whā, soifua, mai manuia po whaftai lava.
Laulua
Sony